Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to our most recent edition today of Loyalty Live. It's been a couple of weeks since we had one, coming back from the wonderful holidays we had. So, as you know, in this series, we talk to the leaders in customer channel and brand loyalty about the technology, trends, and most importantly, the best practices that they are seeing that impacts a brand's ability to drive unique experiences and engagement, but most importantly, customer advocacy and customer loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Carly Dietrich, who is the Director of Strategic Accounts at Stuzo. So Carly, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for First off, I'm doing great. Thank you. Didn't get the snow that we were supposed to get as we were talking about. So that's always good. The kids aren't happy, but that's fine, I guess. One of the things we like to do is kind of start off with a kind of an overview question, personal question. So can you tell us a little about yourself, your role with the company, and kind of your background?
Sure. Yeah. So as Mark said, I'm Carly Dietrich. I'm Stuzo's Director of Strategic Accounts. My background is largely in loyalty, customer loyalty for retail. About 8 or so years ago, I started working for a company called Belly. At the time, we were delivering small business loyalty programs. And we were working to try to scale the small business solution up for enterprise retail. And we discovered there was a handful of challenges related to that, just generally around hardware, software, things like that. We actually took sort of the model that we built with Belly and we evolved that. We built an entirely new technology platform, started a company called Hatch. And that platform was intentionally built to solve customer loyalty for enterprise grade retailers. That technology that we built at the time was actually in that company, was actually acquired by Stuzo. That was at the end of 2019. And that technology we built at Hatch has actually now been integrated into Stuzo's open commerce platform, and it's a product now we call Activate. So I'm with Stuzo today, and at Stuzo I work with our customers, our retailers, alongside my customer success team, and we work with those retailers to strategize, to implement, to transition, and get their programs out into market. And then, of course, once they're in market, helping them optimize and continue to maintain those programs over time.
Okay, great. Well, one of the things we always like to have is kind of a fun fact about you, maybe something you enjoy, maybe shoveling snow. You just get a little kind of a personal insight about you, something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I think this might have been the hardest question on your list there, Mark. My fun fact is I have been to Disney World, I think 30 times, give or take, maybe a trip or two.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I would ask why, but I won't. But
just a Disney family. That's the short answer.
That's good. I went a couple times and found out you can't. They don't serve alcohol, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
You're out.
Not that
that's changed. If that helps, but yeah, fair enough.
It has? The one in Florida or the one
in Florida?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right.
There's your fun fact for the day.
There we go. Now I'll have to try that. I think my boy got the short end of the stick because we have conferences down there throughout the years, and my older kids have gone a number of times, and he may have gone once. So that's probably all he's going. So, but that's all right. So you talked a little bit about the company. Can you talk maybe about Stuzo, kind of the new platform, kind of the amalgamated platform, kind of what it does, and maybe some of the industries that you work with, and how kind of you help them drive that customer loyalty that you were talking about?
Sure. Yeah. So Stuzo is we call it an activation and commerce technology company. We deliver customer engagement solutions for retailers, largely today in the everyday spend industry. So think convenience, grocery, dollar stores, those types of businesses where consumers are visiting very, very regularly at a high frequency. Everything that we do for our customers, our products, our services, our investments and strategies, it's all focused on helping retailers drive measurable business outcomes. In terms of the solutions offering, we offer a combination of software products, and managed services. And our software products include Activate, which I mentioned a moment ago, for intelligent loyalty management. We have a Transact product for contactless payments, and then we have an Experience product for cross-channel digital experiences. All of those products are built on that open commerce platform, which is all modern API-based technology. And our products are really the foundation on which our consumers, our retailers build on top of to deliver their customer engagement programs. And so some of our customers prefer to self-service. They leverage those products and sort of just, run with it. other of our customers leverage our team and our services as sort of their loyalty marketing departments. And so we have a, a much more fully featured offering for some of those customers as well. Yeah, that's what we do today.
Okay. What does customer loyalty mean to Stuzo with the products you have, and what does customer loyalty mean to kind of the brands that you're helping with?
Yeah, that's a good question. Customer loyalty means different things to a lot of people. I can confidently speak for both myself and for Stuzo when I say that for us, customer loyalty it's not a program, it's not a set of rewards, it's not a solution that you've pushed out into market. Customer loyalty is the outcome of good customer engagement over time. Everything that we do at Stuzo is to support our retailers in building engagement programs that deliver the value both to the retailer and to their customers in order to produce that long-term customer loyalty that we're all sort of seeking.
Okay, great. When you look at some of the challenges that exist today, COVID, pre-COVID, customer loyalty is changing pretty rapidly. And what's the biggest challenge and or opportunity you see in customer loyalty today?
So, I think the challenge and the opportunity are actually largely the same. And for me, I would say that's around leveraging customer data to produce business value and to build those customer relationships. And customers, as we know, are more informed than ever before. They expect more, and they expect really specific things from the retailers that they engage with. And on the flip side, I believe retailers are expected to construct programs that perform to higher standards than ever before. And so in short, retailers really have to ensure that the consumer is getting enough perceived value from the program, and the retailer is able to drive the outcomes they need in order to justify the business investment.
Okay, absolutely. What is one brand or potentially a few that you think have done or do an exceptional job of creating customer loyalty, and why?
Yeah, I think there's a handful out there that everybody talks about, the Starbucks and the Dunkin' and the Paneras. There's a lot that are really quality experiences. I think to swerve left a little bit and highlight one that I don't hear talked about as frequently, not in the everyday spend category, but REI as a retailer has a really interesting program. If you're familiar with that one, they launched a program that actually makes customers co-op members through enrollment into the program. And so those members earn dividends, annual dividends, instead of sort of the traditional rewards structure. Super unique, but it reinforces the brand's persona and the values. It's about giving their customers sort of a sense of belonging, which they're very strongly about from like a brand persona standpoint. And I think the other piece of that that's done exceptionally well, specifically at REI, is that they have extremely well-trained associates that make the digital experience and the physical experience very seamless. It's really clear for consumers, regardless of where they engage with the brand, exactly what it is that they're engaging in. And then quickly, within everyday spend, I would be remiss not to highlight one of our longstanding customers, Murphy USA. It's probably one that people don't talk about as often, but they do a tremendous job since launch. And I'm not sharing anything here that they have not already shared publicly, but they've focused on the simplicity of enrollment. They've focused on the immediacy of value and delivering that value to consumers very quickly. Because as you know, when you're on site at a convenience store or gas station, you're only there captive sort of for a few minutes. And so delivering that value in real time is super important for businesses in that space. And they've just generally maintained a focus on driving incrementality for their overall business. And that is what I believe has made their program so successful to date.
Excellent. What's a piece of advice that you would give or share with brands who are looking to improve their customer experience, customer loyalty strategies?
I think there's maybe two quick pieces of advice that go into this, and they play really well with each other. The first is to identify, as I mentioned several times, business outcomes. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. Everything else stems from alignment there. You can build the most exciting program in the world, but if it doesn't produce the outcomes that the business requires, it's a real missed opportunity. So using the data that you collect to drive that incrementality that you're seeking, we at Stuzo call that wallet steering, but it's really important to have alignment there on those business outcomes. The second piece quickly is about getting to know customers and what it is that they expect from their relationship with you as a brand. Everyone loves to reference the Starbucks case studies, the Dunkin' case studies, because they do an exceptional job. But I would argue that they have largely been successful for a lot of reasons, but largely because they understand their role in the consumer's life. They understand what it means to be Starbucks in your life on a day-to-day basis, or what it means to be Dunkin'. And so what I encourage retailers that I'm working with to think about is, what is your role in your consumer's life, and how can you make that that role even stronger, that relationship stronger by doing that role really well. Not everybody is going to be the Starbucks in their customer's life. And it's important that we know that and we acknowledge that when we think about designing programs.
Okay. I know you have a number of clients in that everyday spend category, and these industries have been, some have been really hurt during COVID. Had to change a number of different pieces with regard to their marketing mix and how they're, working with customers, buying online, picking store, and just a lot of challenges, right? What have you seen during COVID impact your clients or brands in general, and how are you helping them?
Yeah, so you know better than anybody that retail has been really strongly affected in everyday spend, which is again where we spend most of our time. Thankfully, most of those retailers haven't been sort of forced to close entirely because they're pretty essential businesses. So it's been a little bit unique in addressing some of the challenges for those businesses. While most of them didn't have to shut down, they've certainly been impacted by a decrease in volume and in customer volume. And so we've really utilized the past year as an opportunity to seek the opportunities through all of this. And one interesting outcome, which is not at all surprising, consumers are rapidly shifting towards contactless payments, towards online shopping, towards same-day delivery and curbside delivery, anything that can reduce physical touch points, right, with those retailers, even though we still all as consumers need to access the services and the products. And customers are showing that they're actually willing to pay extra for some of those services, which is very interesting to consider. Tons of research out there that's relatively new, given the change here in the past year or so. That's demonstrating that people that might not have previously engaged in digital engagement programs are actually trying those things for the first time because of the changing circumstances, because of COVID, because of wanting to preserve safety and protect themselves and their families. When you have consumers leveraging the program and demonstrating a desire to do that across touch points, all of these signs are pointing to how critical it is to have tightly integrated programs out there. And at Stuzo, we think about that as loyalty, as payments, and as customer experience program. But these are all part of the way that consumers are engaging with the retailers today. And as we know, if we can encourage customers in this climate to make those behaviors habitual, it's much harder for those habits to change later on. So this is a great opportunity to sort of, pursue that in a different way than we might have a year or 2 years ago. This is where we're seeing the brands that we work with today focusing their investments and their attention, really having tightly coupled programs, if that means loyalty or payments or customer experience or other things, and intelligently using the customers' data that they're collecting to deliver better, more personalized customer experiences.
Absolutely. So if you look to the future of customer loyalty, and it's definitely evolving rapidly. I think it's going to be more and more important. We see just a kind of an interest in customer loyalty is greater than ever, right? From data privacy and GDPR and just how it touches the whole organizations that do it well. If you look maybe 6 months, a year, maybe even 5 years into the future, how do you think loyalty programs, strategy, and customer experience are going to evolve?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of conversation today about personalization, but I really do believe that the ability to serve precise experiences and content to customers in a way that feels one-to-one, even if it's not truly one-to-one behind the scenes, I think that's where consumers are going to drive loyalty very, very quickly. There's lots of technologies that everyone loves to explore: connected car, frictionless checkout, curbside. And those will have varying degrees of value depending on the retailer and the retailer's industry. But I believe that the real key here is to have a platform that's flexible enough to support the retailer's program evolution in any or all of those directions as they become valuable to the business.
Absolutely. When you look at current trends, new technologies, or potentially ideas that are kind of floating around today, what do you think are most important? Is it the push towards personalization? Is it what are kind of the trends that you think today that marketers should be focused on?
I think it is. I think it's largely personalization, because any of the other technologies that you're looking to leverage can only be done successfully if you're able to build on top of that personalization. Frictionless as an idea is exceptional. I love it. I think when it's done well, it's tremendous. If you've visited the Amazon Go stores, you've been through that experience. There's a bunch of convenience stores in the everyday retail space that are testing these types of experiences out. But the cleanest implementations are the ones where I know as the consumer, when I walk into the store, you know exactly generally who I am, the things I might typically purchase. I can easily access offers that might be available to me. I can easily check out. I can easily access my receipt and my payment if I'm doing so digitally. The tightly coupled nature of those experiences tied to the ability to know how to serve that experience for me, Carly, versus me, a generic retail customer that maybe shops on her phone, I think is going to be the real differentiator for retailers as we look towards the next handful of years.
Okay, great. And what can Loyalty 360 do as a trade association for the industry to help others who are focused on their customer loyalty and customer experience journeys?
I think continuing to emphasize quality content is always the most important thing. Thought leadership, subject matter experts, you do all of this very well today. But I think there's a lot of conversation that's yet to be had around intelligent use of data. And you mentioned that just a minute ago. That's, I think, a tremendous benefit to members because data is always changing. The accepted norms of how to use data well are changing rapidly. So being able to help retailers stay current with how to get data and then how to use it well. And then further, I always find that our retailer customers value thoughts on how to solve real and very specific business challenges. So how is it that we can actually apply technology to real world scenarios to deliver the results that retailers need in order to see value from customer loyalty and customer engagement programs? I think those are all really helpful things to think about.
Absolutely. Well, Carly, it's been definitely been a pleasure speaking with you today about kind of what you do at Stuzo and more importantly, what you see and how you're helping other brands kind of evolve and expedite and make more impactful their customer loyalty strategy. So it's great to hear that. And look forward to hearing more from you and Stuzo later in 2021. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Talk to you soon.